Babies, I'm back with another video and I'm back with another performance review, and today I got the Jordan Why Not 0.3s, Russell Westbrook's third signature shoe. Before we get into the review, man, I want to go ahead and thank you guys so much for this past year. You know, I read every single comment where I try my best to, and I really appreciate the support. You know, I got a lot of big things planned for this upcoming year. You know, me and my guy Pedro behind the camera, we do a lot of work to make these videos what they are, and you know, we're gonna keep cranking out these videos for y'all. And you know, without further ado, let's get straight into the review. As always, we're gonna go ahead and start with the traction. I was pretty skeptical on how these would perform on court, just because there's a lot of colors and dye involved in this colorway. In my past experiences with other outsoles with a lot of color and dye, I really felt like they were slippery, you know, but in this case, they're not slippery at all. minimal dust is applied. You don't really have to wipe that often, and it's multi-directional, so you're gonna have great coverage all throughout. Overall, the track shuttle was great, but one thing I should mention is that you probably shouldn't take these outside. I've pooped in these outside probably like once or twice, and I'm already seeing signs of wear. So if you're gonna go ahead and get these shoes, or you're considering buying these shoes, make sure you don't take these outside. As far as how the articulated zoom bag in the forefoot felt, it was very subtle, not something I was expecting. I was expecting the zoom bag to feel a lot more springy and bouncy. You think of Russell Westbrook's game, he's a super explosive athlete, and he's super bouncy as well. I was expecting his model to, show the same attributes, but, the zoom bag in the forefoot, although it's really subtle and hard to notice, it is very comfortable. Overall, the cushion shell was pretty good. Again, like I mentioned before, it comes with a lightweight, comfortable foam that's going to transition very well. Again, the only flaw I would say is probably the forefoot zoom bag. I would prefer it to be a lot more springy and bouncy. However, it's more on the subtle side, which may other people more preference more. But, again, it all comes down to personal preference. This could be the perfect setup for you guys, but overall, it is a pretty good setup. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to materials. Although they do feel and look pretty cheap, as far as functionality-wise, I do think it serves its purpose. It's lightweight, it's breathable, and, it's pretty supportive for a guard, in my opinion. You have a lot of layering going on, some as support pieces, some for aesthetics, but, I think the materials serve its purpose. But then again, you could say, for the price point, you could get better materials at other options. But in my opinion, as far as functionality on court performance, I think it serves its purpose. As far as fit goes, I would say go true to size. Lengthwise and widthwise, I think they're perfect, and you shouldn't really have any problems. But if you have a chance, go ahead and try these on in store. But if you can't, just go true to size and you should be good to go. Now moving on to my most favorite aspect of this year's shoe, which probably had to be the lockdown. As far as lockdown goes, yeah, you kind of have an inner booty construction going on the back half right here. The inside is molded and sculpted, so once your heel is inside the shoe, it's not going to pop back out. You have a very nice lace system going on with nylon cables that act as fingers that, once you really lace tight, it's going to go ahead and lock your midfoot in place and contain the foot. Then once you lace really tight, it's going to fit like a glove. And honestly, when I was wearing these on court, I really didn't feel like I was wearing anything, just because the fit was really that great. It just felt like an extension of my foot. One thing I should mention, maybe a flaw, maybe not, but I'm gonna go ahead and mention the strap right here. I really think the strap was here just for aesthetic purposes. The type of material they used was like a thin, stretchy plastic, and it really didn't do too much to contain the foot, but I mean, it is there for aesthetic purposes. Overall, I do think this is a good performer on court. However, the materials are cheap, and for the price point, I believe they're gonna retail at $130. You do have other options that are gonna provide a lot better materials. And another thing, this comes down to personal preference. I do wish the zoom in the forefoot was a lot more bouncy and springy. But you guys who may be watching, you guys may prefer a more subtle setup. But again, overall, it's a pretty good performer. I think it just comes down to personal preference. All right, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, happy holidays to everybody. We're looking forward to this next year. I have a lot of big things planned for this channel, but we're only gonna go ahead and accomplish those things, starting with the help of you guys. Again, I appreciate the support. If you guys want to stay updated with me, make sure you go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Link is also down in the description box below. And I ain't got much more else to say. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Why you act so sweet? Why you act like you wanna be with me? And I know where you stay, and I know